Can you hear me? Okay. Yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah, hey, my name is Thomas. My background is in software engineering. I'm now doing more like product work, but still software engineer at heart. I work on a product called Blossom, which is a project management tool mainly used by distributed teams. Some of our customers are Twitter, Netflix, and most recently the NASA. And so I wanted to share some of the insights about how to run distributed teams. We're a distributed team ourselves. Most of our customers are, so maybe there might be some interesting like new ideas to take away from. When it comes to hiring people in your distributed team, I was thinking about like what is like the most important thing I can tell you. I think the most important thing for hiring people who are ideal for a distributed team is they have to be really good communicators. They have to be good communicators in person, but they have to be especially good communicators in asynchronous communication. So how do you find out whether someone can be like a really good communicator? You go on GitHub, you look at open source projects. Often they are inherently distributed groups of people who voluntarily work together. You can look at how they communicate. It's all in the open, usually. You can check Stack Overflow. Who are the people who help other people? You can check the mailing lists. You can check articles. You can check Q&A platforms, Facebook groups. And you can go to local tech meetups, conferences, and look who are the speakers, who are the ones who help other people. When it comes to infrastructure, obviously, if you run a distributed team, not everyone is in the same place. So one of the main disadvantages you have is the usual office management infrastructure that you can have centralized. It's all gone. So you need to have connectivity everywhere. So either your team has to individually understand how to make that possible, or you help them somehow redundant, very fast internet connection wherever they are. If they travel, you have to plan that. Kind of like when you go on vacation, you want to know if there's good Wi-Fi. It's even more important if you're a distributed team. VPN, two-factor authentication, co-working spaces. The last point maybe, it's also interesting, like notifications. Is there a way to notify everyone else in the team if something happens? That's a real problem. When it comes to the day-to-day operations, some things that we ourselves found and many of our customers use is a concept like called objectives and key results. Something that originated at Intel, and it's a concept that Twitter, Google, and a lot of the companies in the Valley use to manage and align their teams. It's basically about having a very clear way to communicate what the strategy is you're working on and what the tactical parts are to make that strategy happen. I don't have enough time to talk about OKRs now, but you can check it out. Another point that is related to the objectives and key results is defining and having a well-understood channel where you communicate whether you're blocked on something and whether you have a question. That might sound super simple, but having a well-defined channel, whether that's Slack or a text message or whatever it is, having something where everyone understands there is communication that's going on, and then there are key things where like you're blocked on something or you have an important question, you want to know how to communicate that, and everyone is on the same page. Another thing is having fewer parts, making or like being possible to execute the same things with fewer people or with fewer moving parts. So there's a lot of automation and monitoring that we see our customers as distributed teams. They automate things that our other teams are only starting to automate over the next few years. Maybe zooming in a bit more on that, when it comes to tools, some of the automation things, many of you probably are already using, are about automatically generating your dev environment, building, hosting, testing. You'll find a lot of these things are things we might automate already that were not usually automated just a few years ago. So I think when you look at distributed teams and what they are automating or what they are trying to find sneaky hacks around. It's something that other people will use in a couple of months or years. Use the best tools that are out there. Like I'm not sure if you've used Slack for voice calls already, but it's a very clear voice calling experience compared to some of the other platforms. Screen Hero is a very good screen sharing tool. So when you are a distributed team, you do pairing sessions, make sure you actually use the tools that provide a good quality there. Use code reviews, use design reviews. I think there's like an endless list of tools that you could use. So I think the main gist of everything is when there's a new tool and people are like passionate about the tool, make sure to check it out immediately and not just a couple of months later, because it might solve a real problem you're having right now. And I think the broader idea of, or what I find fascinating, is that we as software developers that work on software products, we are suddenly in this situation where we actually can work from wherever we want, like whether it's in our pajamas at home or at a random cafe or at a beach, wherever you want. Theoretically, it's possible, and practically, it's possible. It's easier now than it was ever before. So there's still new things that we don't understand how they work well, but I think we all, as an industry, could try a bit harder to push the boundaries so we see the transition happening faster and see potential companies we work for making the shift faster. Yeah, that's basically all of the talk. You can add me on whichever platform you find me. I do this ask at every conference, and you'll find only like 1 out of 10 people actually does it. So feel free to add me, send me messages, questions, whatever I can be helpful with. The slides will be online afterwards. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Thomas, for the great lightning talk.